What's going on, everybody? Brad here, back with another live stream for you guys. We're going to be talking about Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous, and I've got my buddy here, Tom Fishington. What's going on, dude? You ready to talk
Yo,
about? You ready to talk about season two, the
yeah,
trailer?
yeah. It feels so weird that we're talking season two already, but yeah, I'm
I
excited to talk
know.
about it, man.
It's like 3 weeks later. It's like let's just talk about the next season. Um,
Yeah.
ah, I am so pumped. We've kind of been wondering when the announcement would come. We had a good feeling that it was coming, and I even talked about it. I think I did a live stream the other night where I said like, "Oh, they've got a thing coming up on Friday. I wonder if maybe we'll get a trailer or some season two information." And we did. We got a trailer, so we're going to be discussing that trailer. There was also, yeah, like I said, that panel today discussing the creation of season one. So we'll talk about that for a few minutes, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm excited, man. Trailers out, but let's talk about that panel. So you got a chance to watch the like
Yeah.
DreamWorks Colin Trevorrow panel thing. That was for like New York Comic Con, right?
Yeah. It looks like they've been doing everything remotely, which is kind of interesting to be honest with you, because obviously
Mm,
you don't get the usual like level of interaction that you would get from a normal sort of Comic Con panel.
sure.
But I thought it was cool, you know. I mean, a lot of it's pretty recorded, but I think we're kind of getting
Hmm.
used to everything being done like that nowadays, at least. So
Yeah,
it was solid. I
it
enjoyed
was
it.
interesting. They said it was going to be live streamed, and it was live streamed, but it was all pre-recorded because they had the
Yeah.
trailers and stuff like hyping everybody up. And I was watching partial, not really watching. I was listening because I was driving in the car this afternoon at the same time, and I'm like, let me just throw it on YouTube and just put it on in the background while I'm driving. So there was not like a ton of new information per se. It wasn't like any kind of big reveals or anything that I had heard. Um, and then I did catch the second half on the way home as I was driving. So that I feel like the second half was a little bit more, juicy. What did you think overall about the any kind of information that was in the panel today?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I think a lot of people probably went into it with the expectations that it was going to be a lot more behind the scenes, and
Hmm.
a lot more kind of teasing the future. But these things, generally speaking, are more just kind of how the show itself was produced.
Yeah,
So I thought it was really interesting hearing sort of all about how much work went into developing the characters. I thought that was quite cool. I thought it was interesting hearing Zach in particular talking about how much Nublar there was to explore,
hmm,
because I think that has a lot of interesting connotations for the future. And I also thought that it was really interesting, again, just hearing it reiterated how long this show was actually in production.
yeah.
So Zach said his first email about it was sent in 2017, which means that this was probably in pre-production while Fallen Kingdom was filming, which is
Yeah.
just crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's been going for a while, and I think it paid off. So that's why season continuous, long story. And yeah, it was good to finally hear from some other voices as well, because we had on Scott was on that panel, and he was on our podcast. So we heard from him, but it was nice to hear from others as well, writers and even
Yeah.
Colin, to get his kind of in depth chat about it. And it was good to hear that he was hands on with a lot of the writing and stuff. Yeah, and I like the conversations you mentioned, the characters, like to talk about the diversity and just like how that was all set up and just how they made these characters seem real and natural. And I think it was pretty awesome. You were, I think, was it you or somebody pointed out that there was I guess I'll say a discrepancy, because when we had him on our podcast, they were saying that Bumpy was kind of like the origin. It was always going to be Bumpy, but we actually learned
Yeah.
that there was maybe some other things in the conversation there as far as what Bumpy could have been at one point, right?
Yeah, so they came out and said that Bumpy was originally proposed to be a Maiasaura, which
Yeah.
is quite interesting. I believe it's a nod to the novel. Obviously, we have never actually seen it in the franchise, and as far as I'm aware, it isn't on the Nublar map for Jurassic World. So it would have been quite interesting
Mm.
seeing that animal introduced. and kind of how they would have explained that away. But I just think it's cool because it kind of gives you a lot more insight into how much work goes into these shows. And obviously, not with this panel, but recently we heard that actually the sequence with the Indominus Rex, where it like uses its back to push up the container, that was originally going to be Toro. So it shows that a lot of this stuff is constantly changing and evolving. And I think it's quite cool to kind of get a little peek under the hood and sort of see how this is developed from the idea that Zach Stentz had to the
Hmm.
product that we've got at the end, where all these other people have come in and have got to go hands on with that and have actually written these scripts and slowly developed these characters.
Yeah. And one thing I liked, it was not necessarily a reveal or anything, but they basically said that this story is not about adults coming to save the kids, which was kind of
Yeah.
like it was like a little hint towards season 2, as far as like this is not gonna as far as they're kind of leading us to believe it's not gonna be a story about like Claire and Owen coming to save the kids or anything like that. So I know we talked about that kind of thing on one of our maybe like our spoiler episode about
We've
like
done so many at this
yeah, I
point.
know, I'm so lost. But like we talked about like how do you leave behind these kids and not have any kind of path to safety via some people that just got off the island, like whether it be military or InGen security or ACU or just Roxy and Dave or something like that. Like
Yeah.
how do these kids not get saved by one of them? But maybe it's not about that. So I think it was they made a fair point to say like kids especially today in the world and everything, they're very resilient and learn to take things upon themselves to correct the failings of adults. So it's really
Yeah.
on the nose with, I feel like, society today. So it's kind of interesting to hear that that seems to be the route, is like these kids are going to have to figure it out themselves. So maybe at some point there is some sort of savior that tries to come out but just misses them because it's a big island or something. So, at that point, maybe they have to try themselves. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Outside of that, was there any other details like about season
I was
2?
going to say it is worth noting, although we're talking about adults potentially not being a major factor of it.
Mm-hmm.
Dino XLs, yes, we do read chat and we can see chat, so we will try and pick up on stuff as you say it. But just breaking the third wall there. But no, I was going to say they were asked particularly about whether any characters from Jurassic World could cross over, and they were very keen to say that there's a 3-year gap between Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So yeah, there's potential for maybe
Yeah.
Owen Grady to rock up and save the day, but I don't think it's likely.
Some of these little details I give question to during these conversations. Like we were kind of told that Bumpy was the origin, and then like sometimes there's these like little errors in discussion and stuff like that. Or a few years ago, probably now, about the fact that the intro to Fallen Kingdom takes place weeks to months later after Jurassic World. So I believe Scott Kramer said it on the panel today, that moment about like, you have to remember that there's 3 years in between these movies. So it led me to believe, like, are they just going to skip over that moment? Because I believe we talked about it in detail. I think we did,
boy.
right? Like
I came out and was like, they need to tie it in.
Yeah, we were talking about that moment of tying in that pickup scene from, the helicopter comes in and a T-Rex and the Mosasaurus and all that stuff with the, just trying to get the Indominus bone. So it would be a pretty phenomenal moment to kind of see from the outside as it's going down. I'm kind of lacking some faith that they might touch upon that, and I don't know if that weeks to months thing is just kind of null and void at this point. Because honestly, they could just say it was, we did discuss that as well. They could just say it's some other, point in time down the road after the kids have been saved, after everybody's safe or something like that. But I was just a little worried that weeks and months is just going to be ignored now. So who knows?
Yeah. No, I get that. I think it's a hard balance because I like the idea of it taking place like so close to Jurassic World.
Hmm.
But like a lot of people have pointed out, Main Street is heavily degraded at that point, where if it's a couple of months later, it's taken a lot of damage from something. The monorail has
Yeah.
capsized into the lagoon. So there is a lot of damage to the park for it to only be a couple of months later. But
Yeah.
maybe Camp Cretaceous could explain that. I mean, we know that this island has had storms in the past.
Hmm.
Maybe part of season 2 could be the kids getting caught in a tropical storm that destroys some of the infrastructure. Who knows?
I think that would be amazing. You know, a lot of Jurassic is about weather and storms.
Yeah,
There's always some sort of bad weather, I feel like. So that would be pretty Jurassic of them to just kind of
yeah,
tackle some sort of storm and help describe a lot of what you just said. And I think they already started to do that with season 1, with the fact that uh, you know, I guess we're going to be talking about details and spoilers of season 1. So if you didn't watch
yeah,
it yet, back out. But yeah, so in episode 7, I believe, is the monorail episode where the pteranodons are attacking. I feel like they started to describe like why you see some of those monorails, you know, off the track or whatever the case may be, destroyed, because of the pteranodons, right? Like they're
yeah.
attacking the light systems because they're on, and they're just like shiny objects, I guess, and they're going at them. So I feel like a lot of that stuff is starting to be explained for me. The whole like overgrowth and all that stuff at weeks and months is a little strange, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, it's a tropical climate. I don't know. Maybe, you know, and plus we have to talk about the fact that they you know, they have like new kinds of plants and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like that's something that Dr. Wu has you know, had his hands in before, is these like, you know, I don't know what to call them. What do you call them? Like
Plus the dinosaur. So it's
plants.
fauna, isn't it?
No, but like what's he's messing with the DNA of these plants even to like recreate stuff,
Oh, yeah.
create unnatural stuff. So maybe they're just these genes in these plants. This sounds so stupid. Maybe
No, it doesn't. I get where you're going. The dinosaurs have got a sped up growth, so the plants do as well.
exactly. Yeah,
It's
that's what
entirely
I'm getting at. It's
possible.
like it just sounds
Yeah,
like weird when you try to describe it out loud, but like if they did it naturally in the show, it could make a lot of sense. So
yeah. No, I could see it. I think it makes sense because if you think about it, the plants are a food supply for the herbivores. And obviously, if they're growing quickly, they're going to need more food to grow quickly. So
mhm.
it seems logical.
Yeah. Um, yeah, anything else you want to touch on for the panel before we move on to the trailer?
Um, no, I just think it's nice to kind of have a little
Oh, you
sort of,
disappeared.
like I say, a peek underneath the hood because we don't get that often. So it's
Hmm.
nice to
Yeah,
um kind of have something that goes beyond just here is the film, enjoy it, and that's it. It's nice to get a little
yeah.
bit more of the backstory behind it.
Yeah, it feels like, you know, in the digital day and age, it's like we don't really get a lot of behind the scenes stuff, so it's actually nice to have that for sure. And it was weird because like it, you know, even before this popped up, and I had mentioned it earlier, like I kind of like was hoping that there would be a reveal, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking
Are
of
they
that,
when
you
it's
know.
pre-recorded? Wow.
Yeah, like how did that all work? It's like, yeah, we're gonna do a season 2. What do you think, Colin? Should we do one? And like, yeah, let's do one. And it was like, guys, we already saw the trailer hours and hours ago, so you know, drop the act. But that was just
Yeah.
that was a little funny. The fact that the trailer came out pretty early this morning here in the East Coast, I feel like, and then yeah, and then there was like the press release and everything, so it was official
Yeah.
before the the word was dropped on the live stream today. So
It was
that
literally
was a
out of
fun
nowhere
detail.
because I think I had just messaged you saying if a trailer drops today, I'll do the article. And then
Yeah.
next thing I was like, Brad, the
The
trailer's
trailer.
here. I've done the article.
I mean, like I'm just like just waking up. I'm like I gotta eat my breakfast, have some coffee, and write articles, and oh my god, all kinds of stuff's happening.
Yeah.
So I'm like sending you pictures. My computer doesn't want to wake up either. Like, so yeah, it's a rough time. But yeah, so it's official, season 2. The trailer popped up this morning, and I have the trailer here. So let me bring that up for you. I'm not gonna like go ahead and watch it with y'all, but we'll kind of cut through it and just get some idea as to what's going on. Do you have any vague thoughts or ideas before we get into the trailer about what you saw?
Um, Yes, it's cool and it alleviates a lot of concerns I think people had for what was missing from season 1.
Okay, interesting. So let's get into the trailer then. So
Yeah.
it's short. It's about 45 seconds. Let's see what happens here. Universal logo, DreamWorks logo, Amblin logo. Look at that. Let's take a look. Ooh, that is a nice sunset, I guess, or sunrise.
Yeah.
Either way, looks beautiful. Ooh, we got another shot here in the dense jungle with a river flowing. Looking good. Ominous music, and then here we've got a really great shot of some herbivores here, looking at a pretty mangled fence.
Yeah.
So you have the Sinoceratops, herd here, I guess, and there is an Ankylosaurus down there. But I like you get to see like the male and the female Sinoceratops there. You get the different colorations on them. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that Fallen Kingdom. There's like the Fallen Kingdom one on the right, and then you have the Camp Cretaceous one on the left. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
What
kind of you got the one there. It's more like the Mattel toy, which is
I,
quite nice.
I like the dinosaurs are like investigating as well. They're like, man, what
Yeah,
happened? What happened here? Like, I don't know, man.
we dodged a bullet here, man. Something came through here.
It's like I came across a whole pile of dead apatosaurs over there, bro. Let's not go towards this fence. Moving forward, we got a pretty awesome shot here of the gyrosphere. I'm assuming this is the same gyrosphere from season 1, and the same one as Zach and Gray. And man, well, these compies look awesome.
It's really nice just seeing them like I don't know, just like almost scavenging. It just feels really nice and natural.
There's different variants too of them. Like
Yep.
it's really like you have like the age-old compy that we have from like the Lost World, but then you have like a more like a bird-like version of it. It's really interesting. Like completely different looking creature almost. It's just like
Does it
there's
look
like a yellow
closer
snout.
to the Dominion set photo that got released by any chance?
That's an interesting question. I do have that here somewhere. I don't know where, but I think it's on my desktop. Let's take a I've been storing way too much stuff on my desktop recently. That's probably a bad habit. Here it is.
That's just me all the time, Brad.
Not exactly. As far as like the snout goes, like the pointy snout, maybe, but coloring these just look a little bit. I don't know. They look nasty, man. Those ones from Dominion. But these ones.
What do you think they would sound like, Brad?
You know, guys. I don't know. This Genozoic artist here. Should I throw one together for him here? That's what they would sound like. Definitely. Tell toys for, and I never got that toy. I don't even know what happened with that thing. But there was just like really bird-like one. Do you remember what that one is? Really bird-like,
talking about
small, raptor-sized.
Yes.
What was that thing called?
If I move out a frame, it's going to muck it up. It's the Ornitholestes you're thinking of, isn't it?
Maybe? I don't know, man.
It's got like the really thin neck and then the snout with like the orange color scheme on it.
I don't know. I have no idea. But this looks cool. That's besides the point.
It's definitely. I could see it, Brad. It's right there, but if I grab it, it's going to ruin the stream.
It's fine. It's fine. But I think that's really cool. Have we seen different variants? I know, like in the Lost World, they look, some look a little different, but they're mostly just all green, right? Like, I don't know. I'm never really fussed about the different color schemes and stuff, but this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's been really nice seeing how in this series as a whole they've kind of embraced variants in the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in the films they can't do that because obviously an ILM asset costs a lot to make. You don't really want to do loads of variants of it, but obviously here they can kind of be a little bit more sort of ambitious with it. I can't say it. Dino Exels thinks that you're talking about the Mononychus.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Mononychus.
Yeah. That's the one that was in Lockwood Manor.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I don't know. It kind of like looks like that paint scheme, like very bird-like. Anyway, enough bird-like talk, and let's move on to the next scene. This is just, it's cool to revisit this moment from Jurassic World with Zach and Gray, this gyrosphere ball, as well as it was revisited in Camp Cretaceous, so that's cool. It's really rough, a rough history there for Bumpy. It's just like PTSD moment for Bumpy, I'm sure. We got a pizza box, and hey guys, some very bird-like looking compies here. Actually, it looks like there might be 3 variations. Let's. All right.
Isn't there like a gray one as well?
So there's like the brown one, which I guess kind of does look more like the Dominion, whatever the name of that movie is.
Yeah.
Dominion variant. There is like the Lost World variant, and then there is like a more of a. It's still green, but it looks gray. And that's the one I was specifically talking about, is like the more bird-like one, because the snout is a little more yellowy. So that's really cool. That's awesome. I really love that. And then the T-Rex just stomps.
I mean,
on the
Mattel
pizza
love
box.
it too, because it's all the more figures for them to make.
Oh yeah, great. How many tiny compies can they make? I don't know. They'd have to, make some humans to package them with.
Yeah.
So
just repack Darius, sorted.
We got a shot of Darius here, and he's against some wood. I don't know where this is, and it looks
T-Rex
like
Kingdom.
That's what I was thinking, right? It looks like it might be T-Rex Kingdom because of I'm thinking with the wood, the background shot with the big gate and everything kind of looks like that. Actually, this has got to be what I'm assuming is right outside there is where Claire ran.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking right there. So somehow he's in T-Rex Kingdom. What is he doing there? I don't know. I'm scared. Yep, and T-Rex is coming back.
I love the shadow here. It's
really
nice.
Actually, let me go back just a little bit because there was that shot.
I can't remember. Is it the original Jurassic Park where you get the really nice shot of the Velociraptor silhouetted?
Yeah, it's like as the kids were like eating and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. It's interesting because it's such like so far in the distance, so it looks like a tiny T-Rex, but then it's not. It's pretty big. I don't see where Darius is in that shot, but you can see the T-Rex does walk into T-Rex Kingdom there, and I don't know what all that like rubble is like. What got
James
torn
and
apart
Steve
in there?
were talking about this earlier. They don't understand why it's all damaged. So I wonder if this lends to the idea that there has been a storm or something, and Nublar's just falling apart because it's not got the usual maintenance workers it would have.
I would venture to say that could be asteroid. And if you remember in Jurassic World, there was, I believe, like a little tower with a guy who lit the flare or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And tossed it in. So maybe that's what we're seeing here is like one of those little towers destroyed, as well as a bunch of trees. But it's so cool that we get to go inside T-Rex Kingdom. There was certainly not enough time spent in there in the movies.
No. And this is something we'll talk about afterwards because it gets me very excited for what season 2 could do.
Yeah. So we got some shots here of the characters. You got Brooklyn, Sammy, and Yaz. And this is a very Fallen Kingdom-esque shot, straight out of Lockwood Manor with, you have like, was Maisie in that moment? Maisie and Owen and Claire right there against the, whatever the big Triceratopsy like dino was, and then the Indoraptor comes around, and in this case you've got a Baryonyx here, and it is so good looking. Honestly, like this might be the best looking dinosaur in the show.
The way the light hits its pupil is incredible.
It like, I know I've said this a lot about the dinosaurs kind of jumping from the show or from the movies right into the show as far as how good they look, but this thing, I don't know what it is. Maybe it is that lighting. Maybe it's just the atmosphere here, but it's taken it to a whole nother level. It looks like it literally is that CG model from the films. And we know that they do use those. They've said that they kind of, soften them up a little bit and make them a little bit more, for an animated show. But this doesn't look like they softened anything up. It looks legit. Like, it looks amazing. Man, that looks so good.
Yeah.
So it just walks through there, and we got the kids here in the jungle. Who knows what's around at this point? I don't remember the trailer perfectly. I'm like, I don't remember what comes next. Oh, actually, I do remember what comes next.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So this is an interesting thing, and I know you wanted to kind of point this out here about what's going on in this shot. Something kind of let me skip through and see if there's a better shot here. Not necessarily, we just kind of gave that shot away, but all right, so this shot of all the kids here, what's something that you pointed out specifically from the shot?
I don't want to take credit for it because I think it was JT over on our Facebook page spotted it. Darius has got his necklace back. And the last time we saw that was up in the camp. So either it's a continuity error, which I doubt because they've paid a lot of attention to things thus far, or at some point the kids maybe go back to the camp to try and get supplies, or maybe see if Dave and Roxy have been waiting there or something like that. And in doing so, he's managed to get his necklace back, which is quite interesting. And also, hello, Gigaraptor. Thank you for joining.
Hey. It is interesting, the necklace, because it was something that they just kind of like, they focused on for like half a second there. They're like, oh no, I can't go get it. And then they never came back to it at all. And I think that kind of lends to the fact that this maybe was developed and they weren't really sure like how many episodes there was going to be or anything like that per season. It just seems like one long story instead of just season by season. So, they're like, well, we're going to get back to it, but they just didn't get back to it in season 1. It looks like they're getting back to it, and I don't know how, but, and you pointed out in one of our episodes, the fact that whole tower falls for what reason we don't really understand. But yeah, I don't know. That would be
maybe
a crazy.
Maybe they go back and it's magically healed, and only like a tiny part of it's destroyed.
Plus, it's on a different spot in the island because the whole island shifted for some reason. But yeah,
it's actually in the middle of the lagoon.
We got to go back out there again. Oh man. But it is interesting. I don't know if they're gonna, try to traverse that and get up there. I could definitely see that happening. I could definitely see somebody, put it in their back pocket or something and didn't say so until now. Like, is that possible that somebody was like thinking of stealing it? I don't know. That seems a little too far fetched. I don't really feel like any of them are like, thieves or anything. But yeah,
I tell you what,
I mean, I say that, but Sammy definitely had her Brooklyn's phone in her pocket that whole time. Yeah. So who knows,
Well, we know that Kenji's been trying to bond with Darius, hasn't he? So maybe he went back and got it for him at some point.
Oh, that would be really interesting. Yeah. Does he have a butter knife in his hand? By the way, it looks like he's got a butter knife in his hand, and I'm like, that doesn't.
Yeah. In the clips I've seen, it looks like he does. Yeah.
Kenji, come on. You got a baseball bat, you got a bunch of sticks, and a butter knife. I don't know. That's not really gonna fly against.
And what are they going head to head with? Brad?
They're gonna go head to head with a dinosaur that I hate.
That's half our chat gone.
Yep. Bye, guys. I know there's a lot of love for this dino, the Ceratosaurus. And I guess, that love stems from toys and, from Jurassic Park 3. And that's where my hate stems for this thing. I was not a fan of that moment in Jurassic Park 3. I just thought it looked, I didn't like the way it looked at all. I hated the way it looked.
The dinosaur was also really passive as well. It just kind of looks at Alan and the group and then turns around and walks off.
Yeah, and maybe it was because I don't feel like we ever really got a moment like that in Jurassic before, where a dino just didn't care about people and it's just like, nope. But it felt weird to me. But hopefully, I'm sitting here, I'm crossing my fingers. Let's hope that this kind of turns it around for me. I definitely could see that happening. I definitely can see. Well, I don't know how they're going to get out of this moment, though. Like, maybe it might not turn things around because all the kids are about to get eaten, right?
There might be underground tunnels nearby. There you've got your plot MacGuffin. Just pull a rock up and suddenly there's a
Guys,
tunnel
guys,
hatch.
guys.
Go down and you're back in the tunnels again. But oh no,
Well,
Toro's still down here.
yeah, a little theorizing here. If you look at the full group of people, you do not see still Ben or Bumpy.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? Anybody else missing?
Maybe he
No.
comes to the rescue with a homemade like crossbow that he shoots the Ceratosaurus in the eye with. Allosaurus battle a big
Oh
monster.
God. No, but I like your theory about the tunnels. Like maybe he's just like, guys, come over here, and he just pops out of a tunnel, and they just all jump
Yeah.
down. But this
Well,
looks
in
like a very
theory,
very
it would
close
make
call.
sense to survive in there, wouldn't it? Because you could get around the park relatively safely.
I guess. I mean, somehow dinos find their way in tunnels fairly easily. We've got a
Yeah.
long history of dinosaurs in tunnels, apparently. So, uh, yeah, I don't know how they're getting out of this situation. It's either going to be a tunnel, a crossbow, or the T-Rex is just going to come out of nowhere again and just rip its throat out or something. I don't know. That seems to be a
Yeah.
very cliche thing they like doing.
We do have an interesting question in the chat right now from
What's that?
Gigaraptor. He says, do you guys think Manticore is a cover up for Biosyn, or is it just a placeholder to not mention Biosyn in the series and keep it for Dominion? I think that it's a separate entity because obviously when they announced that Dodgson was coming back and it was an official announcement, they hinted at him being in charge of Biosyn now. And I don't think they would have mentioned the company in an official capacity if they weren't willing to at least put it out there to some degree. So I think if this was Biosyn, they would have named it as such.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah, I think what this is. Steve, for God's sake, paid $1.99 to tell me it's past my bedtime.
Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Well, that's my pocket money covered.
So, I mean, since it's your bedtime, why don't folks say goodbye to you? Bye, Tom. Peace out. Have a good one. Anyway, he's gone now, guys. What are you talking about? Where are you? There's a ghost of Tom somewhere still around here.
Steve Cream.
And that called him right back. It's so weird how that works. But all right, so thank you, Steve. What are we talking about?
So yeah, just to finish that up, I think what it probably is,
Biosyn.
It would make sense to me that it's different entities now building off of what Wu says in Fallen Kingdom. So it's all these people now being set up to be experimenting with the technology, and then you'll kind of see the results of their technology probably clashing in Dominion. Oh my God, Siaka just said Brad just turned Tom into soft cannon.
Oh God, there was a what were we talking about? Manticore. I forget what I was gonna say. There was some sort of comment in the show about I guess whoever I guess Sammy's parents borrowed money from somebody that was like a front for Manticore for some reason. I don't really understand what was happening there too much. Yeah. So there's Manticore.
It sounds like it was. I'd say it's maybe just like a loan shark who's actually working for Manticore. It seems like about going directly to a Manticore agent, doesn't she?
Why? Like, I don't understand. Why wouldn't Manticore just pay somebody who's way more capable at doing something instead of creating a front who's a loan shark who will loan money to people in trouble just to get them to go steal information from Jurassic Park. That seems like a really, really convoluted way to find a spy. I
guess it's avoiding accountability, isn't it? Because if you think about it, if they're going through all these loopholes, in terms of their PR, they can just say, oh no, that was nothing to do with us. It was this guy who set her up for that.
Yeah, I don't know. seems like a long way to go just to tell that story. I don't really understand that the value of that whole front portion, but it makes the entire conversation of different companies and bioengineering companies and pharmaceutical companies all very convoluted. So I think they're all different though. Like I think you had said that same thing. Like you have Manticore, you have Mosby Health from Evolution of Claire, and you
Yeah.
have Biosyn and InGen. So I think they're all they're all separate entities, and maybe some of these entities intertwine with the people we see in Fallen Kingdom at the auction. I don't know, but it's possible.
It'd be a cool way of tying it all together, and it would make sense as well, because at the end of the day, that's an opportunity to get the golden standard in terms of genetic sample, isn't it? Like, if you can get a living specimen, you've got something to reverse engineer.
Hmm. Uh, Jurassic Unicast, is it not Manticorp?
Yeah,
as
it
in
is, but
as
I
in
just say
yeah.
it as cool.
Well, that's how they say it. They say core, right? Because
Yeah,
it's kind of a play on words as far as a manticore,
yeah,
because that is a thing, a mythical thing, right? Um, and then Manta Corp, but they don't pronounce the
yeah.
P. Uh, I don't know what you guys in the UK do, but we don't pronounce P's over here. Like the Marine Corps, kind of like you don't really say
Yeah.
Marine Corps. I mean, that sounds
Then I guess it's not the
grotesque.
Marine Corporation, is it?
Oh, you never know. Let's move on to the next part of the video here. We have let's see. Oh, pointing out. Oh, going back, not go backing, because that's not a thing. Going back to the Ceratosaurus, it has the very cartoony eyes that like the T-Rex
Yeah,
toy has. And it's so evil looking back in the
yeah,
distance. Like it literally has these big, like, kind of goofy eyeballs.
yeah.
So while like
I
something
do
like
wonder,
uh-huh.
is it actually attacking them? Because you don't see it directly go for them. It's just kind of charging out. I wonder if they're gonna portray this as a more docile carnivore, and maybe they just have a standoff, but then it backs off. Because I mean, you can like do two things. You can either give it the scene that it never had in Jurassic Park 3, or you can
Uh-huh.
double down on that and maybe even go as far as saying when Wu made these 2001 hybrids or 2001 dinosaurs that weren't on InGen's list, um, you could say that maybe he was experimenting with things like behavior. So obviously you've got the Spinosaurus, which is the far end. It's part hybrid. It's got an enhanced aggression index. And then
Mm.
maybe you've got a Ceratosaur where he was experimenting more with seeing if he could make dinosaurs docile.
Very playful little guy. That'd be silly. That'd be silly.
It just turns over and wants its belly rubbed.
That could be interesting. I don't know if people would really go for that.
Yeah.
People really love this thing. Yeah, it would be a pretty interesting take, though. I wouldn't be opposed to it because I think it would add some fun context to Jurassic Park 3. That I would help me maybe appreciate that moment a little bit more.
Yeah.
But let's see. What's up next? 2021. We got
Hopefully
Main
better than
Street.
2020.
Hopefully. Main Street is disheveled. It's not,
Yeah.
no storm or anything really has passed through.
It doesn't look that different to Jurassic World. It looks like a couple of things have been knocked over, like
Mhm.
umbrellas and that kind of stuff. But it's not at the level it's at in Fallen Kingdom. It's still very much
Yeah.
Jurassic World's Main Street.
So who knows when this is? It could be the next day after Jurassic World. I don't know.
Yeah,
But the T-Rex is back. But you also this might not actually be in the show as well. This definitely feels like the T-Rex breaking through the fence, like it did
yeah,
in season 1. That was just like a thing that they repeated every episode and never actually happened. It was just like in the
yeah.
what was it, in the outro or the intro? I
It
forget.
was the like,
Um,
it was the intro, wasn't it? Or was it the outro?
I
Maybe
don't
it was
remember,
the
man.
end cap.
But
Mm.
either way, this could be a moment like that, but who knows? It's cool to see Main Street after the fight and after the people have kind of disappeared. Not too much to go off of there. It looks cool. T-Rex looks cool. Looks like
Unicast is
our
saying,
Rex.
"Where's her scars? Aren't her scars on the other side?"
Um,
I'm
yeah,
looking.
enough.
I've got a figure here, so I'm trying to look at it, and maybe
I don't know, man.
let me.
I have no clue. She has scars all over at this point. I don't remember what side is what anymore. I think they should be on this side though. I think they're kind. I think they
Okay,
might be
so
right.
on Jurassic Park, if it is the scars you're talking about from the end, as dinosaurs rule the Earth drops down, it would be the other side because she sort of stood looking around to her left, so it's her right hand side you can see.
Okay.
Because this is something I was thinking earlier when it was brought up. Um, so it would be her other side, but they are right. It all depends on timing. If it's very soon after the Indominus fight, then she
Well,
should be a bit bloodied, a bit bruised.
sure. Oh, for sure. If you do look in Fallen Kingdom, it's the same side as Fallen Kingdom that roar against the mountain,
Yeah,
against the volcano, and she has plenty of scars, like along her neck, kind of slashed across, and
yeah.
kind of down her back a little bit, I guess, from a raptor. Um, so yeah, don't know what's going on there. Hopefully that they could fix that. But again, maybe this could just be, like I'm saying, like the intro or outro to the episodes or something like that. So it might not be anything. But
The more we sit on this scene, the worse it gets because Benny just pointed out that the remains of the Spinoskeleton had disappeared as well.
no, there's something right there. There's like a little bone. I see a bone right there.
Where are you looking?
Under the tree, under the umbrellas, like in the back
Oh
next
yeah,
to
no,
that building.
yeah, there is like a
On the
leg
left,
bone
yeah.
there.
Something. But yeah, it's not like strewn across everywhere. But yeah. Yeah. I'm not too worried about that kind of stuff. But the scars would be a weird issue to kind
It'd
of
be a weird
ignore.
inconsistency in that,
Yeah.
yeah.
So she roars. She looks good though. Otherwise, you got the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous logo, and this is pretty interesting. You got a hand there. Whose hand is that?
Ben,
You think that it's
obviously.
Ben? That's Ben's hand, right? That's what I was thinking.
Ben's
And who's
turning into a tracker. He's doing a Muldoon, getting on the floor, looking at the footprints.
and whose footprint is that? Is that
Muldoon,
Muldoon's? Yeah.
yeah.
No, we got Bumpy's footprint there. Surprisingly, no shot of Bumpy in the trailer, but you have this little footprint, which is it's funny because like Bumpy's in the end of the show. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like you think she's dead or anything. It would be more so, I don't know, for Bumpy to see like a footprint than for Ben to find this footprint. I don't know. But yeah, we got a little tease there for the end. So Ben needs to wipe off that dirt. Either that or it's a full moon and he's turning into a werewolf. I don't know. There.
Yeah.
Let me actually bring up real quick the press release that I don't have anymore because I had to restart my computer. All right, so the press release reads as, and this is me delaying because I don't have it up yet. All right, DreamWorks Animation today announced a second season of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, which debuted globally on Netflix in 2021. Will debut. I can't read. The first season inspired by the
Brad, I believe.
yeah the inspired by the multi-billion-dollar franchise from Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment, was set against the same timeline of 2015 blockbuster for film Jurassic World. Season 2 will find the stranded campers struggling to survive on Isla Nublar as the series charges forward beyond the events of Jurassic World film. Okay, that's not a lot of details there. And then it kind of just repeats the whole, they go from strangers to friends to family, if, whatever, if they're going to survive, repeating all that. You got the same people running the show here, it looks like. Cast members, nothing new. So, yeah. Not many details here as far as season 2 is concerned, just this little teaser. But as far as we know, they're going to be struggling to survive on Isla Nublar.
Yeah.
Straight from the press release.
There you go. They're going to be,
Yeah.
charging forwards. Yeah, I mean, I think season 2 is kind of really exciting for me personally because it kind of turns Nublar into an open sandbox again for a bit, where
Yeah.
obviously we have got Jurassic World. That's done, that's out the way. We've got Fallen Kingdom, but it's 3 years down the road. We've got the introduction to Fallen Kingdom, which could be in a couple of months' time in this timeline. But apart from that, this is pretty much time where they can now do anything they want. So they could choose to tie
Yeah.
into things. Say, for example, the fact that half of the monorail bridge is destroyed in Fallen Kingdom. They could explain how that happened. They could show other things. They could just choose to go and explore other areas of the park that we've not seen before. I mean, Giga will vouch for this in a chat that we're both in. I was saying earlier, there are still places we haven't seen at this point, like the golf course. Obviously, we've not spent any time really in the hotels, although we were originally going to, all that kind of stuff. So there's plenty of scope to now go away and explore new locations. The aquatic park, imagine a sequence with a Baryonyx there. There's
Mm.
so much potential to do cool
Yeah.
stuff. And I think now is the point where I'm really excited personally, because I feel like now they can kind of let some of their crazier ideas off the leash and actually do a little bit more with it. And I feel like we've hit our beats where we've done stuff with the Mosasaur. We probably won't do that again now. We've had Toro be the big villain. We've had the Indominus. So now we can go and do new things, which is exciting. And I'm really intrigued to see what they're going to do. And
Yeah.
I will say one of the biggest takeaways for me from this is the fact that there's no blue in the trailer,
Hmm.
which I find interesting.
Yeah, I guess this time they're just selling it straight on the T-Rex,
Yeah,
instead of other dinosaurs. So this, yeah, I was wondering, do we get blue at all? Do we get to see a small glimpse or no blue at all? That could be interesting. We do get at least a Baryonyx, and
yeah,
hopefully we get the other two, right? Because there should be three
yeah.
Baryonyx in total. Because we were all wondering, those toys ahead of season one, where are we going to see these Baryonyx fit into the show? Nowhere. Apparently nowhere. But they will be in season two, I would assume. Hopefully there's all three of them there. And
I
then, of
think one of
course,
the
that toy
three is the Fallen
Ceratosaurus.
Kingdom design, isn't it? One of the named ones looks exactly like it, so it could be
Um,
that named one.
yeah, I forget what they look like. I have them there somewhere. But yeah, one of them, is straight up. I don't remember.
I've got one in my hand right now, the lime
Yeah, that was the one that
green
came
and
in the
brown
play
one.
set, right? That was the one that came in the play
Yeah,
set.
and then there's the one that's got the red circle around the eye, and then I'm sure the other one is just the Fallen Kingdom design.
Yeah, I don't remember where um my pictures are. I'll look for it in the meantime. But we also have the Ceratosaurus toy that everybody's like, oh, I can't wait to see the Ceratosaurus. So that's finally popping
Yeah.
in here. So you're adding in those. Do you think we see the Carnotaurus again? She seemed a little bit like, reluctant to go after them after the explosion and
Yeah.
everything. So maybe that dinosaur backs off a little bit and goes into hiding.
I mean, she's
And
got to lose a horn at some point because she is clearly the demon Carnotaur.
I still think so. I don't think there's any reason why you
Yeah.
couldn't still make it that.
No, I
Um,
like that idea. It makes so much sense to me.
oh yeah.
And I think either in this season or the next season, season three, we're also going to see the Dimorphodon and the Stygimoloch because both of those have got Camp Cretaceous branded toys out.
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to remember everything that has a toy. Is there a Herrerasaurus toy for this? I
And not for
forget.
this, it's just a primal
Just a
attack figure.
okay, just a primal attack
Yeah.
one. Okay, yeah, I was trying to remember. I haven't had a lot of like newer toys pop into my stores, so I forget completely. Um, but yeah, anything else? Anything interesting stand out to you as far as the trailer is concerned, or where do you think this is heading? I like the storm idea. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think
So
that'd be fun.
we assume that they're going to have to try to figure out their way off the island. I still don't imagine they'll get off, I guess, right? Like you would assume that they're still there. It would be interesting, kind of like what you were talking about, the fact that like they haven't explored all these different places is like season 2 is about this area and season 3 is about like getting out of this
Yeah.
predicament, kind of like parsing it up into different sections and different issues that they have to tackle or something.
Yeah, that could be really cool.
But
Well, I mean, I think. Hey, Klat's here.
what's
Yo,
up,
welcome,
Tall?
dude.
How you doing?
Um, I like how I just went for his username instead of his name. Subtle. um, um, Right, what was I'm completely distracted now. I've just seen your name and I'm in the zone now. I was gonna
Look at
say,
you.
so we've not seen any of the original Jurassic Park yet. So
Oh, true. Yeah.
is there potential for us to explore one of that? And one of that, some of that,
One of that.
and
Yeah.
yeah, one of that, one of those places only. But just
Oh,
like
sorry.
these images I keep getting in my head, imagine an overgrown emergency bunker, an overgrown velociraptor paddock, and just the
Yeah.
kids stumbling through there. And obviously, they know of Jurassic Park, 'cause it gets mentioned at one point. But
Yeah.
imagine
Yeah.
them coming across this older stuff and not quite realizing where it's from. It
Yeah.
could be such a cool kind of trip down memory lane for us as I was going to say us as older fans. Obviously, you even older, Brad.
Thank you.
But it
Yeah.
would just be
Isn't it
so-
past your bedtime, man? I thought it was past your bedtime, wasn't it?
Please don't make me disappear again. Please,
Bye bye,
don't
Tom.
do
See you
it.
later,
Don't do
dude.
it.
You're gone. You're gone. Um, but in Tom's place, I do have
Brad,
this picture here
no.
of of some other things. No, I'm kidding. There was a picture that popped up while Tom was there for some reason. But all right, so those I did find those dinosaurs, and Baryonyx Limbo, I believe, is the one that you have right there that came in
Yeah,
the Darius playset. Chaos, I believe, is kind of like that Fallen Kingdom pattern that kind of resembles the original Baryonyx toy from Mattel
yeah.
that we got. And Grim is the other one, and I don't know. I don't really know where that one factors in. So yeah, that one's the one with like the red around the eye, I
Yeah,
guess.
I really like
Um,
that. That looks so cool.
it's interesting. Um, yeah. Anything
Yeah.
else here? Any other toys? No, I'm not seeing. These are just the miniatures that I'm looking at.
So
Um,
the red Dimorphodon, which
hmm.
is an attack pack that's out currently,
Oh
is
yeah,
one that people think is gonna appear in season two. And
yeah,
then
could be.
also, and again, annoyingly, it's just out of my range sitting here. There is a brown and very light tan colored Stiggy Moloch, which is similar
Oh
to the
yeah,
one in Fallen Kingdom, but it's different. So it is possible that they could turn up, which would be quite
yeah,
cool.
yeah. That could be
Um,
interesting.
and I think that's one thing that I've really liked in general is the fact that they have really tried to blend Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World. So
Hmm.
obviously, having all of the new
Yeah,
dinosaurs turn up in Fallen Kingdom was a little bit jarring, but actually
yeah,
this makes it feel a bit more like a natural transition,
yeah. I hope
which
that
is
helps for
pretty
a lot
cool.
of people. Yeah, hopefully that makes people
Yeah,
feel good about like seeing all these things. Hopefully we get into Pseudoceratops fit in to the season two, and I don't know. I think maybe they might go in a different direction as far as like uncovering maybe Doctor Wu's plot or something like that.
yeah,
Because I would assume they try to go call for help or something, so they'll go to some lab or something like they'll probably end up in that lab in Main Street or whatever, and try to uncover something. So that could be interesting to see
yeah.
how that all happens. But
Well,
yeah,
obviously, we talk about needing expendable bodies in this
hmm,
season so we can still get dino kills. Is it
yeah,
possible that all of the InGen mercenaries are still cleaning this up the day after? So everyone else is
yeah.
gone, but they're still there trying to like extract all of the assets and take them to wherever we went afterwards.
It would be interesting to see if like there's a reason why the kids can't trust them to go get help from them.
Yeah,
Like for instance, they witness them like shooting a dinosaur or just like just doing something that's kind of
yeah,
reprehensible where they're like, I don't know, I don't want to go talk to that guy. He might hurt me. So I could see something like that happening where they just see this abuse going on in the background and they're like, well, let's go get help. Oh no, wait, we got to stand back. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. We talked about that at one point of like how they're just like randomly there still at the end of the movie, and it seems like it's a very vacant area. And I forget what was the timeline. So they're on the dock and it's daytime. That's
yeah,
the next day, right after Jurassic
yeah,
World. So that was like everybody just left. That was the last boat the
yeah.
next day. So yeah, that's a whole lot of time spent. Where
I
there's
think
still
it's
people
feasible for
around. Like
helicopters to still be there because if you think about it,
yeah,
their whole like evacuation effort is going to be the main people. It's going to be the park guests. But if you've got people who are like ACU trained, for example,
Hmm.
surely they're going to stick around and mop things up a little bit before they go and just make sure there's nothing like left to chance.
You would think
Like,
so. Yeah.
yeah, like, because I mean, if you think about it, otherwise you've just got all this technology it's sitting there waiting for people to come and poach it. So surely
Hmm.
they'd like lock up
Yeah.
all the buildings and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You would definitely think so. That I know they'll probably say that they want to focus their assets on the characters, the dinosaurs, and the scenery without a bunch of extras and stuff. But yeah, having just it be a vacant island is very strange to me.
Yeah,
I just don't
yeah,
see
I
how that
agree.
would happen. I think even if like, and I know it's like the whole age old, like, well, even Pirates of the Caribbean won't eat the tourists kind of thing. But if like Disney shuts, it's not just a completely empty place with nobody there. It's just shut down.
Yeah,
There's going to be guards. There's going to be people wandering around. So I can't imagine that like this would just be an empty, completely empty island. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'd like some explanation on stuff like that, but who
Well,
knows?
I again going back to what I said earlier. So there was, and Gigas actually raised it in the chat saying poachers may be coming to Nublar. This is something that we were talking about in a chat earlier, and we were saying, well, is it a case of the Fallen Kingdom mercs are the first people to go to Nublar, or are they just our first introduction to people being on Nublar? There could have easily been operations before that that haven't left a trace. Um,
Yeah.
and one thing that I kind of think about more and more is the Manticore drone. Because if you think about that, that's a quadcopter. They've not got a ridiculous range, and Isla
Yeah.
Nublar is out in the middle of the ocean. So there had to have been a boat or something nearby for that to have come from. Because there's no way it could have just come from the mainland. So
Oh,
is it
absolutely.
possible that we'll see like a boat or something come ashore and then maybe have some new characters from Manticore or another company introduced here?
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting if somehow Sammy can get word out to that boat, um,
Yeah,
and they end up saving them, but that storm rolls up and they wash up on
yeah.
the shores of Isla Sorna or something like that. How cool would that be, man? Like
That would be cool,
that that
yeah.
would be that would be
Or,
pretty
I
cool.
mean, so obviously we're saying, why is it Biosyn in Dominion? Why isn't it Manticore? What if the Manticore mission fails? So they go to the island after Jurassic World
Uh
and all
huh.
of them die. It's
Yeah,
possible.
I mean it could. Yeah, literally. It's so we have sad news today. The full company Manticore went out to Jurassic World and they all died the next
Yeah.
day. So it's just the company's going under now, guys. We have no explanation, but everyone was there. Yeah, I could
Even
just see
the
that.
apprentice, Mike, who just went to make the coffee.
Everybody, literally, they needed somebody to hold the doors and make coffee for them. But yeah, everybody's gone now. It's very, very sad. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know, man. We'll have to think on this and theorize. We've been going for a while. So, any final thoughts before we head out of here? I think we've been going for a while.
Yeah, I will just say I'm very excited to have more Jurassic as always. And I'm excited that even though we might not be getting Dominion next year now, we are still going to be getting Jurassic projects to keep our appetites
Yeah,
fulfilled.
yeah. And what do you think? You think that's a good thing? Getting that thing moved, Dominion moved out to 2022?
100%.
Yeah,
I like at the end of the day, this community is family, and I want to be able to celebrate with everyone. I don't just want to have to be
yeah.
like, "Hey, Brad, I can see your face on a video right now," but that's it. I'd much rather everyone be able to come together when things are safer and celebrate this film because it is an event. It's bringing together the past 5 films worth of legacy. So I definitely hope that we can all celebrate together. I couldn't
I
tell if you were just waving at me as a result of what I said, or if you were like, "Hurry up, Tom! I need to
no,
finish."
no. You're like you could see me on video, so I pieced you out and you disappeared for a second. So yeah, I took you out
Oh,
of the frame
nice.
again.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pop up behind you in a sec.
That would be very creepy, but you never know. It might have. Hey, wah! What are you doing back there, man? Get away from me! All right, jeez, he's back. Oh, Don't be creepy like that. Anyway, I think it's also a good thing. It gives us that's an important factor. It gives us time to celebrate and have some fun together and a chance to go see these things together. But yeah, I think it's a safety thing too. Like you're seeing that there was some positive tests and stuff, but also negative results. So I don't really know what's going on on the production, but they shut it down for 2 weeks. So it gives them time to not worry about those details as much, that they can take their time and not rush into things and create a project that is just not what they ultimately set out to create. So I think this is the best opportunity. I know a lot of people are upset and sad, but what are you going to do? And
I mean, there's going to keep being Jurassic Park podcast. There'll keep being other content out there. So we're going to get through it together, and it will be 2022, and we'll be sitting down watching Ian Malcolm and Alan Grant running off into the sunset together as a couple before you know it.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. So anyway, this should have been the live late breaking Jeff Goldblum lays down podcast, but I didn't think it was worthy of an article. I mean, a video. So, but here we go. Here we are. So thank you guys for watching. And what was I gonna say? Was I gonna say anything else? Oh, Tom has a video out. Tom's got a video out right now, so you can go check that out on our feed as well. He's got a video kind of just showcasing a lot of the details that we talked about here, as well as some other stuff. So go check out that. It's, what is it? A few minutes long. It's a quick video.
Like 3 minutes.
Yeah. So go check out that one. I don't know what else. What was today this week on the podcast? I think it was the mailbag. So go check out that episode on the podcast feed. I have no idea. I'm tired. I have no idea what's happening anymore. But yeah, we're doing it. There's going to be a lot more podcasts throughout 2021. So thank you guys for watching.
Can't wait.
I've got them all prepped. They're all in the backlog. I don't have to do any work for 2021. Look at how it all works out, Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Tom, thanks for joining me. Find his links and everything in the description below. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.